How much would you pay to rent a 3-bedroom house 25 minutes drive from the city? In Auckland, where there's more renters than anywhere else in the country, you'd be looking at forking out well over $500 a week, and that's on the low side. Now, with people heading north after the Christchurch earthquake, there's even more tenants vying for the sought-after rentals. We found a property on Mount Eden Road that's attracted calls from almost 100 potential tenants, some even offering $80 a week more than the asking price in a bid to get in first. We sent Kate Lynch to the open home to see what happened.
Come on through.
It was the moment they'd already been waiting half an hour for. Wannabe renters queuing up just to get a glimpse of their potential new home. Steve Kelly and his wife have been looking for over 2 months now. They say they're getting desperate.
Not really that good, to be honest. I think the price has gone up about $100, I think. What, you know, 3-bedroom for $550 3 months ago is now $650.
What sort of areas have you been looking at?
Everywhere, you know.
Yeah.
Even as far as Avondale. I mean, our business is in the middle of the city, so, you know, we want something quite close, you know. But we're in Ellerslie now. We've looked as far as Avondale. You wouldn't believe it, would you? So it's quite tough.
One by one, 85 file through the house, keen to impress, keen to prove themselves the most eligible tenant.
As much information as possible.
Dan Arnell has just moved here from the UK. This was not what he expected.
It is a similar sort of picture in the UK, definitely, but we've not seen this before. We've never been to a place before where you've got 25 people and you're crammed round. We've just been told by everyone that you've just got to get in really, really quick. Anything you see, you love it, just go for it.
Even when it's further from town and more expensive than ever before.
Where have you been looking?
Basically everywhere that's a reasonable distance to the city, from Sandringham round to Iraqi and everywhere in between, pretty much.
And what is it you're seeing?
There's a lot of really awful looking places and not that many nice ones. It's nice, but it's about $70 more a week than we're paying at the moment for basically the same kind of house.
So do you think the thing is with this house that it ticks so many boxes?
Location-wise, entertaining area, polished wooden floors, open fire, and then a very nice kitchen. Gas cooking, okay, dishwasher, okay, and this, I quite like this.
That is very cool.
Very nice, isn't it? Come on through, we've got a really nice shower and bath, which is, you know, an asset. Tile floors, tile vanity, yeah.
So it's very nice. Clean.
Clean cut, clean lines, yes.
And it has a shower and a bath.
Yes, with a slide. I'll show you the master bedroom.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got built-in wardrobe. Plenty of shelving down the side.
Oh yeah, it's a good size
it is,
wardrobe.
Definitely. And the last tenant in here had a double bed.
It is nice, you know, it's modern, but the bedrooms are really small, so for a family, one child, you know, another child, it is kind of disappointing, really.
So back looking, trawling trade me for you?
Yes.
Good luck.
Cool, thank you.
From what we've seen today, they'll need it.
So, is the rental market really as bad as it seems? Joining us now, David Whitburn, President of the Auckland Property Investors Association. Is it that bad?
It is quite bad, but only in some parts of Auckland markets, particularly the most sought-after suburbs close to the CBD. For example, suburbs like Parnell, St Mary's Bay, Herne Bay and Ponsonby seem to suffer the brunt of this. And then just going out a little bit further, some of the other suburbs like Mount Eden and Westmere and Greyland.
But what causes it to suddenly change?
It's basically supply and demand at the end of the day. The supply and demand are the fundamental economic laws, and what we're seeing is that there aren't enough supply of houses to meet the demand from tenants. As we've seen in that clip that Kate Lynch did before, there are a number of tenants that don't want to be too far away from Auckland in the CBD. That's where the jobs are, particularly the jobs that pay the most money. So as a result, they're seeing the most pressure, and this is a situation that I found myself in back in 2002 and 2003 when I was renting myself.
But same thing happened?
Same thing happened. It's at the end of the day, it's just another property cycle. So I found it tough because I went along to places in Kingsland, places in Greyland wanting to rent myself, and goodness, there are 50, 60 people in front of me.
How much pressure is the movement from Christchurch then putting on these places?
There's Undoubtedly some pressure from Christchurch. I have talked to some property managers in the Auckland Property Investors Association membership and indeed some of my own clients within New Zealand Wealth Mentor, and unfortunately there is demand from Christchurch. Some people's homes have been destroyed to the point where they've had to relocate to areas like Timaru, Wellington, Ashburton and of course Auckland, the nation's economic hub.
So that's only going to make it worse?
It's only going to make it worse, unfortunately.
Is there an element of landlords just creaming it? They know they can jack up the prices, so they do.
On the vast majority of landlords, no. But in any business, there are always going to be a few trying to be overly entrepreneurial. However, I think the vast majority of landlords are just simply trying to charge what market rent is. And there are some things that can be done about this, I believe, by the government.
What sort of things?
I think that the government can do things like ease some of the red tape with the Resource Management Act, with the Local Government Act. An example is when I invested in a property in Massey in West Auckland in 2003, I put in a building consent application on the Tuesday and I got it out on the Friday. It cost me just $2,000 to do this back in 2003. Now, winding the clock forward to one that I tried to do in October last year, well, I actually did do it, $32,000 in council fees, development contributions to do the same project with the changes. So that's an enormous increase.
But the sort of things you're talking about doing in this case is like putting in a granny flat out the back or expanding the property and how many people it can take.
Absolutely, to increase the supply, because the demand's already there. Let's just assume that that's going to stay constant, but we need to do things to ease the supply, and this is one of the things that Auckland City, previous to the Auckland Council merger, didn't do, whereas you could do this in other areas like Waitakere City, Manukau City and North Shore City. So
what do you say to those? I mean, you saw those people, they're queuing up to look at that one property. OK, what do you say to them?
I really feel for them. I've been there, and if you do want to get a place to rent, you need to be organised. You need to get your driver's licence. You need to get your, in effect, a brief bio done, because when you're having that many people, landlords can be choosy, and you've got to act quickly. So it's about getting organised. And if you want to look ahead and think of, do I really want to be chasing these properties in the future and going along with future property cycle trends, maybe it's a chance to get organised and set a financial plan for some home ownership.
When they turn up, I mean, you're a landlord, so
yes.
I rock up there to rent your place. What should I be doing? I mean, should you dress up? What's going to impress a landlord and give people a chance to get in there?
It's not necessarily about just dressing up, but being polite and courteous is always very good, but you want to be ready to act. You want to be able to have your bond money ready to be able to pay over to a landlord. You want to be able to fill out a tenancy application form quickly, sometimes on the spot, and and maybe even have your own credit file, because landlords like to do credit checks on people and your identification ready. Just
back to the dollars. If a place is going up by $100 to $150, that's not because the landlord's expenses have gone up, it is simply the market. They can get that much more for the property. Is that what you're saying?
It is, Mark. It is simply the market. I will say that perhaps there was a small oversight by the tax working group and indeed the government, in the sense that depreciation on building structures, which is being removed on the 1st of April, that has had an impact. That has meant that some landlords don't want to invest anymore. The New Zealand Property Investors Federation did a survey, and this survey showed that this will cost the average landlord on the average property $43 per week. And for some landlords that bought in 2006 and 2007, when there's a lot of hype about the market, they unfortunately are a bit undercapitalised and have been forced to sell.
We know there's a problem in Auckland. What on earth are they going to do in Christchurch? Who's going to invest in Christchurch and provide properties for people to rent there?
That is an area that's very, very tough. I know that some colleagues in the legal profession are mentioning that it's an absolute nightmare with settlements and things like that going through. Why? Because insurance companies are loath to insure properties. Banks want to see certificates of currency to insure properties in Christchurch. The volume of transactions is exceedingly low, of course, right now. It is an area, though, where there are a lot of houses that are undamaged, but 10,000 houses that are more or less thought to be condemned, and I understand figures of around about 100,000 houses of the 145,000 houses in Christchurch that need fixing, when it's so tough to get a tradesperson at the moment. That does mean that there's a huge undersupply of housing.
So if people think they've got it tough in Auckland, Christchurch is going to be a nightmare.
Christchurch is an absolute nightmare, absolutely. And what this is doing is, I've heard anecdotal stories of some Christchurch tenants just moving further afield. They're going up to areas like Rangiora, like Ashburton, and also to Timaru.
OK, just got to find a place that suits the budget.
Very, very much so.
David Whitburn, thanks so much for your time tonight.